sextile Saturn. So Venus, our planet of love, money, is in harmony with Saturn, the ruler of responsibility, long-term goals, strategy, discipline, obligations, commitments. It all comes together to blend our heart desires with a practical stability. So how do we do that? Well, we first of all have to have a practical sensibility, right? We have to think things through. Is this a good move? What is the reward from that move? Okay, it creates a strong foundation for lasting joy and security. Actually, this energy reminds me of this one guy. He pops into my head. And I mean, this guy was always on the go. Always on the go. And he had like 2 or 3 jobs at all times. If one fell off, he got 2 more or whatever. But he was always on the go. And I said to him the one day when he was actually like taking a breath, like, oh my gosh, you are like, you're always on the go. You're always on the move. You're always, working, or you got a side hustle going, or you've got something all the time. Where do you find the time to sleep? And he says, I would like to think myself the laziest man in the world. And I was like, yeah, so that's not happening. Explain that one to me. And he says, while I'm in my youth, while I'm in my prime, because everybody tells me this is your prime time, he says, I am doing all this work to create all this money for myself so I can invest it wisely. And he says, I'm not working until 65. He says, I'll never make it. He says, 30, 35, that's when I want to retire and live off the dividends, live off the, what my income brings into me. So, so I started telling him he was the laziest man in the world. He loved that. He'd smile ear to ear. Our focus needs to be on the consistent, okay, to embrace delayed gratification. And that's why he popped into my mind, knowing that in time the rewards will come. We're such a instant gratification kind of environment, society today. If we can't have it, then we get a credit card and they say we can have it. It's like mom said no, so we go ask dad, or dad said no, so we go ask mom. But in our grown-up lives, and trust me, these parents are unrelenting, okay? If we don't pay them back, then wow, does it ever cost us, okay? So, it's about working towards the goal, the dream, the desire. It's about showing up every day and giving it the consistency it needs, it deserves, in order to grow into the success you want to see it. So look at your life and understand where you could create more stability or more structure, where you may have been seeking short-term pleasure at the expense of long-term growth. And look at new ways to find satisfaction in the small, steady progress. Maybe keep a small diary of what you did that day. Track your efforts. Reward yourself in little ways. Invite a friend into your goal setting so that they can support you, cheer you on, and holding your hand on the day when things just didn't go as planned. I had a client, and she was a bit of a dreamer. And she just dived both feet into all these new little plans and projects, and really her life just got cluttered because halfway through she'd see something else and she'd want to do that instead, and she'd see something else and she'd want to do that instead. And so, but the one day she sat there and she says, enough is enough. I want to work through something to bring in the stability, to see the success at the end. This is, a whole bunch of half-baked ideas laying around me. And so, we talked about it and we decided we'd start with work and looking how she could, become more organized at work, looking at some short-term goals she could set for herself at work and maybe some long-term. And then we rolled it over into different parts of her life. And, nothing was immediate. But over time, okay, she was building the life she loved, one steady step at a time. And I can still remember the success of the first major accomplishment being done finally, finishing the project. We celebrated that. Absolutely. So, you might actually feel that pull today to reassess what you value most. Relationships will deepen when we show up with a sense of responsibility and authenticity. Finances will stabilize when we create plans that honor both the present needs and our future dreams. The key is now to nurture connections, nurture commitments. And not just anything, but the ones that really bring real meaning to your life. And we have an opportunity to turn a fleeting desire into a long-term treasure. So let go of the quick fixes, the short-term pleasures, and lean into the patient and disciplined work that will shape into something extraordinary over time.